Jeff Smith went on a historic run this last weekend in the US Masters where he took out Peter Wright, Nathan Aspinall, Luke Humphreys to make it to the finals of the US Darts Masters. And during this incredible run, there is 5 very important lessons that I took away from his performance. Let's get into it. So the first lesson that we're going to talk about here, and this is the most important lesson on this list, and that is that you have to believe in yourself. Jeff Smith had belief in himself during this whole tournament, and it's so easy to lose belief in yourself when you're going up against the caliber of players that he was playing against. Now I know Jeff Smith is a PDC Tour card holder, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to call him a North American darts player as opposed to the PDC dart players. And when North American players play against the PDC pros, nobody ever gives the North Americans any credit. So it can be very easy to listen to what the critics are saying, and then instead of believing that you can win a match, now you hear all this negative talk and it could possibly get to your head. This is something that Jeff Smith had to deal with every single match that he had in this US Masters tournament. But Jeff Smith kept belief in himself the whole time, which kept his confidence up and gave him the ability to beat these players and make the finals. You have to believe in yourself every single darts match that you approach. In darts, everyone is beatable. Someone can always have an off night and you can always have an on night. But the thing is, if you don't believe in yourself, then you will never have that on night to beat the player that you didn't think you could. And one of my favorite parts about this was at the end. So Jeff Smith made the finals to play Michael van Gerwen and he lost 8-0. After losing a match like that in the finals, that's when it could be very easy to lose some belief in yourself, but Jeff Smith did the complete opposite. In the post-match interview, it could be very easy to get negative on yourself for losing a match and getting shut out like that, but Jeff Smith brought his confidence to the next level. He said in the post-match interview that he is one of the best dart players in North America, which makes him one of the best dart players in the world. And I love that he said that because that's just showing how much confidence that he has in himself in his darts. And now that he made this run in this tournament where he took out Peter Wright, Nathan Aspinall, and Luke Humphreys, it's going to give him so much confidence going into these upcoming PDC events. I'm really excited to see how this confidence affects him moving forward. I think we're about to see a lot of good stuff coming from Jeff Smith. The second lesson we're going to talk about here is that you have to be resilient in all the tournaments that you play. If you're not resilient and your opponent starts hitting a lot of good darts, then that's really going to affect your mindset in a negative way. And that is the last thing we want to do because having a positive mindset is so important in darts. And if you're not resilient, it's going to be so much easier to negatively affect that mindset. Jeff Smith was put in a lot of situations where these PDC guys were hitting really big shots on him. But since Jeff Smith was super resilient, it did not affect him at all. He just kept moving forward, and combined with the first thing of believing in yourself, he believed in himself enough that he was going to bounce back, and his resilience is what allowed him to bounce back and win these darts matches. So you have to be able to roll with the punches. If a player starts getting really hot against you and takes out a few really good outs and really good legs, it's not the end of the world. You have to be able to withstand the punishment and then be able to deliver it back, and that's exactly what Jeff Smith did. Just as easy as it is to get hot for a few legs and throw some good games, it's just that easy to have a little slump, which would allow the opponent to get back in and have their resilience show through that they were able to withstand the punishment and still be able to bounce back. So you always have to make sure that you're resilient. Don't focus on what your opponent does. But if you do and you notice that they're throwing really good darts for a little bit of time, or even if it's the whole match, don't let it affect you. Stay resilient, stay in the match, and know that there's always the opportunity for you to come back and win. The next lesson we're going to talk about here, lesson number 3, and that is you always have to remain patient on the dartboard. Opportunities don't come up all the time, so it is always so important to remain patient and wait for those opportunities to show themselves. And when they do show themselves, you have to be able to take advantage of the opportunity given to you. So once again, kind of going back to the resilient discussion that we had, is that Jeff Smith was having some really good darts thrown against him, but it did not affect him negatively. He remained in the game, he stayed patient, and when the opportunities presented themselves, he was able to take advantage of them. Now, if Jeff Smith was impatient during this tournament, there's probably a good chance that would have negatively affected him and then he might not have had as many opportunities because his darts might have gone down, but the fact that he remained patient allowed the opportunities to show up, and combined with this patience, he was able to remain calm and take advantage of the situation. Darts is a game of patience, so always make sure that you're patient. The next lesson we're gonna talk about here is do not let your opponent distract you. So when Jeff Smith was playing against Peter Wright came out in that match with a different dart and a different hold on the dart. So that just came off as kind of weird, and I'm sure Jeff noticed that going into the match. And sometimes when you see an opponent do something different like that, sometimes you start thinking about it. It's like, man, why is he holding that dart different? Why is he using a different dart? And then even halfway through the match, Peter Wright switched his dart and his grip. It was actually pretty crazy. I've seen him change his darts throughout a match. That's pretty normal. But completely switching your grip was kind of crazy to see. So when you're playing against someone that does that, if you notice that and you think about it, now it is taking your mindset off of your darts, and now you're partly thinking about what your opponent is doing. And when you start doing that, your darts are gonna start to go downhill. And then in the Luke Humphreys match, Luke Humphreys was having some shoulder discomfort and he was doing a lot of this. And Jeff Smith definitely noticed that, but he did not let it affect him at all. He just kept going to the line and throwing his darts. So it can be easy to let something like that distract you because you can sympathize with your opponent, or it just takes your mind off your game a little bit. But you cannot do that. You have to focus on your darts and only your darts. All right, guys, we're on to our last lesson, lesson number 5. And this is you need to find the double that you are feeling really good on and stick with it. Jeff Smith was so good on his outs the whole tournament. That's what brought him to the finals. But even more than just his outs, he was clinical on double 18. Anytime he could leave double 18, he was leaving that for himself. He was doing this because that is the double that he feels most confident in. Why leave 40 or 32 when you're really feeling 36? So in your matches, you have to find out what double you want to stick with and feel good with. Now, of course, you cannot leave your double every single time, but there's going to be situations where you have to know where to throw your darts to leave you that favorite double. For example, if you have 54 left, you can go 18 to leave yourself that double 18, which is something Jeff Smith would do. Or I'm more of a tops guy, so I would throw it the 14 to leave myself tops. The last thing you want to do is be in a position where you can throw your first dart at a couple different targets to leave yourself different outs. But you approach the line not knowing which route you want to go because you're not 100% sure what double you want to leave. Once again, you won't always have control, but there will be plenty of situations where you do. Another example would be when Jeff Smith had 63 left, he was throwing at the 999 to leave himself that double 18. I had never seen that before because with 63 left, I always go for that 13. But Jeff Smith, loving that double 18, he was throwing at that 999. So find out what double you're feeling good on and what double you're feeling confident on, and try to leave that double because that's going to raise your chances at hitting those doubles because it's going to boost your confidence. Let's get in one more throw here, guys, and we're going to end this video in honor of Jeff Smith's amazing run. Let's try to take out that 36 with that double 18. Oh. See, and that's why I don't leave myself 36. All right, guys, that's it for this one. These are 5 valuable lessons that I learned from watching Jeff Smith's historic run at the US Masters this year. And I said this in another video, but I'm going to say it again. Big congratulations to Jeff Smith for winning the North American Championship and his incredible run in the US Masters. But another thing I want to say thank you to Jeff Smith for is that showing North America that we can compete with these guys. Every single year, North American players are making it further in these PDC events. And now Jeff Smith making the finals in this US Darts Masters is just another step up. Yes, we still have a lot to do here in North America, but we are getting better, and it's not long that we're going to start winning more of these PDC events. So thank you, Jeff Smith, for showing all North American dart players that there is a chance. And also thank you for showing those overseas guys that we're coming for them. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Some videos should have popped up over here. Click one, click them both. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, drop the video a thumbs up. Check out BullshotDarts.com to pick up some Bullshot apparel, and then check out magicwear.com where we have the official Bullshot jersey. Links for those will be in the top comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video, and shoot well.